there are going to want to know about the apprenticeship program. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mike Lead Aspire session. I am Mary Cheney, the CEO of Minorities in Cybersecurity and Mike Talent Solutions. Today we have Leesel Fraser up on the mic today, coming in to chit chat with us about her career, her life, and of course, as many of you are either in the program, apprenticeship program, or want to be in an apprenticeship program. I see you probably have questions, so I will monitor the chat and monitor the YouTube live channel. So we'll work that out. But welcome. I will let you introduce yourself, Leesel.
Hi everyone, so great to see all of you today. A little about me. I was born and raised in New York City. My background is in computer science. Before joining my town, I was doing software engineering, but I began having a passion for cybersecurity, and then I just started learning on my own, and I came across the MiC Talent program, and I was like, okay, maybe this is something that will work for me, and yeah, the rest is history, and now I'm with the lovely Miss Cheney here.
Well, thank you very much. But let's back out a little bit. So, born and raised in New York. What are you currently doing?
Yeah, currently I'm doing software engineering for a finance startup.
Okay. All right. That's cool. That's cool. And why did you decide to join the Mike Talent Apprenticeship Program?
Uh,
What drew you to cybersecurity? What made you want to be a cybersecurity professional? How about we go there?
sure, yeah. So doing software engineering, there's something called like thinking um like thinking with a security mindset. I found that when doing software engineering, I didn't know too much about the security side or like how things are being tested or secured. And so I started there, like, how can I make apps I'm making more secure? And I started going to hackathons actually, where I can learn more about security and just started adding security in different layers to current applications that I had done before. And from there, I was like interested in like how things were working. And so I started making applications. Like I made like a test password manager. So there I was trying to understand like how are passwords generated, what makes them secure, why is that considered a secure password versus like my ABC123 password, things like that. So I started there just like a natural interest and curiosity, building off of my prior knowledge. And then from there, I started going deeper into it. So I started like watching more security news, just reading it casually on my phone. And then I was like, you know what, maybe cybersecurity is something I'll be interested in. And so then I started taking my courses, whether it was on Coursera or Codecademy or any other kind of platform like that, or just something on YouTube, just trying to see how something works or how a security engineer thinks. And then from there, I think through my research or through another organization that I'm a part of, like a community group, I heard about Mike Town, the apprenticeship program, and it was like perfect timing. 'Cause I was like, wow, this seems like something that would be great for me because now I can actually dive in and kind of earn while I learn, but also do it with a community of other people as well. And so I thought, wow, this would be perfect for me. And so I had signed up through the portal online for the application. And then I got to the first round interview and I was really excited. And I was just telling my team about my interest and background. And to my luck, I was accepted into the program, into the inaugural cohort. And I was like, wow, this is really great. And it's been an exciting journey since then. So, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. And I'm gonna try to put on now again, if you have a question, you put it in the chat. But I'm gonna ask you a couple questions so they can get a sense of, what it's like to work for Miss Mary. What would you say, and it's good feedback for me, what would you say is the biggest thing that you've learned about being a professional within while working in the Mike Talent apprenticeship program?
Um, I would say, well, being on time matters and being present. Um, Yeah, being present, I think overall, like in all things, because even in all the courses, Mary definitely stresses like being there, having your cameras on, and engaging with everyone, and it does change your experience because now you're kind of face to face with people, and even though it's like a virtual program, you still get to connect with the other person. Once you're there, you have your cameras on, you're interacting and going through the sessions. So that also helps in your professional life too, because sometimes just like being present in a meeting or even just showing up a little earlier can kind of propel or increase someone how someone sees you, or they see you as more of a professional person or someone who's very responsible and reliable. And I think that's something that's definitely will help you do well in the My Talent program, but then also in your professional life as well.
Hmm. So how would you say they should show up
Um,
to their interview specifically?
To your interview, I would say show up. I was definitely very excited, and I think that was shown a lot through the things that I was saying, the way that I was saying them. I was just very excited to be in the interview, and I was excited about cybersecurity. So show definitely your interest. Show things that you've done. Don't minimize things you've done. Like don't think that, oh, if you just only like browse some articles, like just definitely talk about that and talk about why you're interested in that and why you spend time doing that. I think that also definitely says more about you. Even if you don't have any, I don't think you definitely need like any like hard concrete like cybersecurity experience because that's you're here in the apprenticeship to learn. So I think just showing your interest, showing your excitement, and definitely being proud of the things you were doing before pursuing cybersecurity, I think would definitely make you stand out.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Leesel is also a graduate of the Mike Lead Builders course, which is a course that all of our apprentices take. And curious to hear from you what your experience was with that Mike Lead Builders course.
Yeah, the Mike Lead Builders course was definitely a great experience. We had well, Miss Murray has a bunch of great connections, and so we got to meet a bunch of really interesting people that she knows. Some of them are cybersecurity professionals. Some of them are, have their own businesses or entrepreneurship side projects. And I think meeting those people really shows you that in cybersecurity, there's not just like one role you have to do. You don't have to just be an analyst and keep going to manager. Definitely met a lot of different people that had different paths to cybersecurity, and I think through being in that course, it definitely teaches you a lot of those other skills that you probably won't learn if you just take like a hard concrete cyber course. Talking to those people firsthand has definitely been very eye-opening and very enriching. A lot of Miss Mary's connections have a lot to offer and a lot to give, and they're very helpful and they really want to like see us succeed. Like when they were talking to us, it wasn't just like they had a PowerPoint or just going through the slides. Like they really wanted to engage with us and see our experiences and relate it to us. And I think that's what makes the Builders course stand out from like any other course I've taken. And everyone in my cohort and that has been a speaker as well has been so very diverse in their backgrounds, like knowledge and experiences, and even like locations and things like that, like countries they're from and things like that. So it's definitely a wealth of knowledge, and we definitely all are. I feel like we're like arm in arm with each other as we go through this apprenticeship. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, um, the we have a question in this, and I'll probably end up taking it. What types of projects did you work on in the program? So, understanding that the apprenticeship program is 12 months. It's designed to be 12 months. And for those that are accepted in the program, we'll have an orientation and we go through what everything looks like, the specific curriculum, and all the other things that we do is proprietary to my talent. So I'm not going to sell it to YouTube. And so unfortunately I won't be able to answer that question. I will tell you we have a learning management system. We have additional partners that add additional training. We have relationships with other organizations that are able to provide training. We have an announcement coming out next week as well in regards to additional training for our apprentices. So all of that to say, I don't really say a lot about the specifics of the program until you're accepted in the program. Sorry, Linda, can't answer that. Izzy has a question. Is there anything you learned during the program that you wish you had known at the start of the program?
Yeah, great question.
I'll
Thanks
let
for
you take that one, Lisa.
that. Oh, can you hear the notification in the background? I don't want to be interrupting. Okay, great. Something I wish I learned at the start that I learned during the program. During the builders course, there was a session where we had to go in breakouts and talk about our, I think it's leadership styles or learning styles. And I think if I had known that prior to the program, then that would have really helped me. I think in the interview as well. I mean, I think I'm happy that I got past the interview, but I think it would have definitely helped me understand more of my goals in cybersecurity and how to narrow what I'm interested in and how to essentially learn how to learn, but in a way that works for me. So I think during that session, we learned a lot about um, what our personality is like. And that was a bit eye opening for me because that really helps me understand like how I'm going to be working within a group of people, how I like to ingest information, how I share information, things like that. And the best way that I, in my unique personality type, can come into my own as a leader. I think knowing that would have been very helpful with going through the sessions and even just working independently on work instead of following like a typical format. Like I think it would have helped me to know like this is the way that I like to learn, and it would have helped me with other skills like time management and planning out doing the projects and things like that. So yeah, that would be one of
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. Yeah, because the builders program is about leadership development, and I'm very big on developing the individual person, and each person is different. And so that's why we take you through the personality assessments and we do all of those things so you can get to know yourself a little bit better because sometimes people don't have an opportunity to or get exposure to those things to be able to say, oh, I didn't really even know that about myself. But yeah, that's spot on, right? And so
Yeah.
that's always a fun thing to do. And it's just eye opening. So I'm going to answer this particular question in regards to the cybersecurity apprenticeship program. Applications are closed. They were open from July 1st through 15th. We had over 100 applicants. We are now going through the process of interviewing. We have about 13 interviewers for this particular round, and they will be reaching out to you. There is a whole list of things that happened. If you've actually tried to reach me, it's enough information out there about the apprenticeship program that questions about it are answered on our YouTube channel. They're answered on our website and everything like that. So if you're sitting around waiting, if you're on the call and you're waiting, we'll get to you. We have a goal to get through everything within the next 4 weeks. So you will be contacted and you will have your shot. I'm just telling you before, be responsive, answer email, show up to the meeting on time, show up to the meeting. So that's all I have to say about that. We have a question in the chat that says, hello, Leesel, during your journey and outside the graduating the apprenticeship program, what was the turning point or experience where you felt it was the most rewarding? What was the turning point or experience where you felt it was the most rewarding? Leesel has not technically graduated from the apprenticeship program. She was in cohort 1. Their cohort is 12 months. So let me explain a little bit about how I keep track, and I'll let you think about that question. How I keep track. So the apprenticeship program, the technical training component of the apprenticeship program is 180, no, 158 hours, I think it is, and that is inclusive of the technical training as well as the MiC Lead Builders course. You will not get paid. So don't go in the interview talking about how much I'm gonna get paid. No, you will not get paid unless you're placed with one of our employer partners. We are still looking for more employer partners to place our apprentices. We've had roles disappear this summer because of budgetary constraints and things of that nature. And so we're still chomping and still our team is still going to find out those partners. We have several of them that we think they're going to shake loose in the fall. But all that to be said, I don't let you go until I get you a job. That's how I feel about it. Right. And so Leesel is going to continue to stay around and get access to the additional training and everything like that we continue to bring on until such time that I'm able to find a job. And then I'll let you go. And then I'll let you go. So no, graduate of the Mike Lee Builders course. Yes. So I hope I talked enough for you to be able to see the chat, the question in the chat, or you want me to reread it?
Oh yeah, I see the question. Thank you.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
all right, so I'll say the turning point or experience that I felt was most rewarding. You guys saw a little bit of glimpse of it when Miss Mary was talking. I think one of my most rewarding parts for me has been outside of the cybersecurity courses and also the builders course. Miss Mary is always like telling us about her process and the things she's doing, and I think for me that's very valuable because one day I think I might want to pursue entrepreneurship or open my own kind of cybersecurity business or a nonprofit or something like that. And I think hearing about Miss Mary's process and how she does things, like she does that a lot. Like she'll tell us like what's going on, and she's very transparent with us. And so I think that's for me is very valuable because I have that goal in the future. But other than that, I think a hard like specific turning point was definitely graduating the builders course because there I was like, wow, like I went through all these courses and it was just a cool feeling during the apprenticeship because it's very long. It's like for the whole year. So being able to have that one goal in between the apprenticeship um, and before graduating is just nice to have that that placeholder. Like when I got my certificate in the mail saying Mike Lead Builders graduated Leesel Fraser, I was like, wow, this is like something concrete I can have and hold and just look at. And so I know from there that was like a good indicator. Like it's kind of like when you're running like laps, it's like you get to the first one, second one, it makes you feel better the more you can like get those little rewards. So having that was like a little reward for me, and it makes me more excited for when I do finally graduate. When I'll get a certificate saying, you know, I went through this whole year and this whole ride with the inaugural cohort and Miss Mary and the whole team, and it just makes me look back and think, wow, like I really did all those things and you know, went through all that, you know, during the year and during all the things that was happening in the world at that time. It's just nice to have that concrete, like, wow, I did that. And yeah, coming out of this whole year with something new and a lot more skills. So, yeah.
Mhm. So switching a little bit. So a lot of people join the apprenticeship program because they have challenges transitioning into the space, right? And that is a commonality. That is just a reality. Um, the question is for you, what type of, based upon where you were in September of last year and where you are now, what type of role would you say that you want to pursue? Have you learned enough to say, okay, well, this part or this area of cybersecurity is what I'm interested in?
Yes. So I think for me, because I have a background in software engineering, I think I can use both my previous experience and the skills I learned in the program in my next role. So that would either be a software, like a security engineer, or like a software engineer on a
Mhm.
security team, or a cybersecurity analyst. Um, from my personal interest, I'm also interested in penetration testing as well, is something that I'm interested in, or just security architecture as well has been something that I've been really reading up on and think would be a good career for me. Um, and
Mhm.
that's, I think there's like levels to it as well. We went through in one of our sessions in the apprenticeship program about different career paths and different roles. And I think all of us will be prepared to go into a cybersecurity analyst at least. All of us have different backgrounds and skills as well. But for me personally, I think, yeah, security engineer would be something I could go into.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because essentially in the program, we focus on foundational skills that anyone would need in order to be a successful security professional, not just a particular role on a team. Um, let's see. With Liesel's background in computer science and software development, would she be considered a journey worker, or is the classification specific to cybersecurity experience or expertise? I'm not sure I understand the question. A would be considered a journey worker. I think with Leesel experience and a lot of our professionals that are in our apprenticeship program are transitioning professionals. We have folks in help desk. We have people with master's degrees in cybersecurity that are having difficulty transitioning into the space. And the question becomes the field is so broad. What happens is we have individuals come to us that, as Leesel pointed out, oh, I want to be a pen tester, right? And it's like, okay, well, I have 33 years of experience, and let me explain to you that you can't penetration test a network if you don't know how to defend it. And so, what we focus on within our apprenticeship programs are the foundations and the fundamentals of what any professional needs to understand about cybersecurity, right? So, Leesel has transitioned her software development experience, software engineer experience makes her a qualified candidate in a lot of different areas of cybersecurity. Secure software development lifecycle, that's a thing, right? That's a thing. Security engineer is a thing. Secure DevOps is a thing. All of these things that go with her background can be transitioned into the profession, into another role. Just looking at it from a different aspect, we can take your average salesperson, or you can take someone from retail. It can be a customer service focused type of person that understands how to deal with humans that are in distress. That's what a SOC 1 analyst does. That's you know what and so it's really the journey that our apprentices are on. We have 84 right now, are to get to understand how their transferable skills apply to a particular role in security. I mentioned salespeople. You can be a security sales engineer, right? I mean, that's a thing, right? If you go look out there, sales engineer, it's a thing, and they get paid a lot of money, right? And so it's just understanding and taking away this, I don't know, secret, that you have to be all the things in order to be in this profession. You have transferable skills that can apply. You just need to be educated on how they apply and which role could potentially be right for you. And those are some of the things that we talk through and talk about within our programs. So I don't know Izzy, if I answered your question or not, but I wasn't real sure from a clarity perspective what you meant by that. Um, so Monica asked, do you plan on getting any cybersecurity certifications, and are they important? I can take the second half. You can take the first one.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so actually, one of the first things, like when we joined our cohort together, we had a group of us studying to take our cybersecurity certifications, our first one. A lot of my cohort mates actually got theirs, and some of them did attempt their first trial, and they're going to redo it soon. So I think I do want to get my initial certs, CISSP, CompTIA Security Plus, Network Plus. I do want to get some certs. And I think now is a great time because they have a bunch of free courses online, or like free opportunities to get your certification, especially for people of color and women. I think ISC squared, I think it definitely has a 1 million.
ISC2. They just went through a rebrand. It's ISC2.
Okay, ISC2. Yeah, they have their, I believe it's called 1 million in cybersecurity campaign going on. So they're trying to get everyone certified, and they're paying for everything. So you can, they have a free course, you just follow it through, and then they give you your code at the end, and you can submit and um, get your certification. So if that's something you're interested in as well, I definitely recommend that. And also looking into other programs that fit your demographic. If you're a woman, there's programs out there, person of color. But yeah, I do want to get certifications. In terms of if they matter, it definitely depends, depending on your background. So let's say if you do have a background in sales, for example, um, and you go through the course, I think just your background and experience in sales, and also um, your completion of the cybersecurity course or apprenticeship here would be enough to at least get you an interview. I don't think you definitely need the certification, but it definitely helps bump up your resume, especially depending on the company itself. Some companies definitely would have a requirements, others are more lenient. So definitely, if you can market yourself well on your resume, and that your resume is something you learn in the course as well, through the builders course as well. So you definitely, if you feel a little bit like you still need some help with that, that's something I was talking with my MiC mentor as well, because you get a mentor in the program. So I was talking to my mentor about how I can fix my resume up to now look for cybersecurity roles as opposed to just engineering, and market myself as a cybersecurity professional. So definitely the way you market yourself can definitely, without a certification, at least get you a job, and you can do a certification in your free time. Yeah, after.
Mhm. So, yes, within the apprenticeship program, you have access to the ISC2 CC cert. We've had folks take their CompTIA Security Plus cert. While within our apprenticeship program, we have a partnership with Black Hills Information Security, where our apprentices get access to those particular courses. Like I said, we will be um, announcing, and I'm not going to say it, we will be announcing next week another partnership that will get all of our apprentices access to additional training and certifications. So you have that option. I my okay, so take this all with a grain of salt because I have 30 plus years of experience in this space. I've never hired a person for a certification. I think that the industry, the cybersecurity industry, does itself a disservice by focusing in on whether or not a person can take a test. As you can tell, and I will tell y'all some secrets, and I said it before. What's going on right now when I talk to hiring managers right now, talent is using AI to present themselves to be more than what they are. Right. So they put the job description and they put their resume and they say, make me a resume that's going to beat the ATS, which is the applicant tracking system. And then they get in the interview and they get the interview, right? And then they get asked a question and they can't answer that question because they lied on their resume. And so what's happening in the market, in the job market, that's what we're battling. We're battling people that are not what they say they are. And so within MiC and MiC Talent, we develop our talent. So you come to me, you looking for a job. My first question to you is, especially an entry level role. All of our entry level roles are earmarked for our apprentices. So if you're not in an apprenticeship program and you're looking for a cybersecurity role, and we have one, I'm sorry, we are making bukus of investments within the individuals. As Leesel just pointed out, you get there's no charge, right, for the apprentices. All it is your time. You get access to CC cert, you get builders program, you get a mentor. Once you're placed, you get a coach. You get all of these things and so we're making those particular investments in you as an individual. So no, if you're out there and you're saying, oh, I want to be in cybersecurity, and you're not in our apprenticeship program, I'm sorry. We're doing too much with the talent that we have, but we're developing talent, right? So that's what we do. We provide you guys access, and you go as far as your motivation takes you. Now, don't get me started about the lack of motivation with some of the folks that I've seen. I'm not going to fuss on YouTube today, but your character, and as I pointed out, your professionalism is important, and your ability to meet the demands are important. And like I said, I expect you to be there. and be there 100%. So certifications, getting back to the question, I hire for passion. I didn't hire for a cert, because a person that is passionate, that wants to educate and wants to research, cybersecurity is much more of a research and writing role than it is a technical role. You'll be doing more because it changes all the time. So how are you gonna keep up if you don't know how to read a document or follow particular news, or be able to articulate these things in that manner? And so that's important. But certifications, there are folks that take the certification route. Certifications are just as expensive sometimes as getting a college degree. It can be. Um, and so it's important for you to realize which certifications in what way, right? And how you're going to stack those certifications based on where you are in your career. Right. So that is important as well. You have to be able to understand what it is you're trying to do, because the CISSP, you need to put that on a 5-year plan. Right. Even if you pass the test, you still need 5 years of experience before they're going to give it to you. So that may be a 5-year goal. So that's not the first one you're going to go get. It's just not. Right. And so it's about learning, it's about research, it's about being able to, like I said, have access and upskill yourself, but it's based on you. And so it pros and cons of certifications, like I said, you get access to it, um, and you get access to a lot of different things within our program. But all that to be said, it's all dependent on how driven you are to understand what that is. Right. So Leesel, what what types of security news do you follow?
Yeah, I follow quite a few different outlets. One of them is called Krebs on cybersecurity. Like
Okay.
Krebs on, I think it's Krebs on security.
Krebs, yeah. Yeah, I think it's Krebs on security, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so that's one you can look into. It's updated pretty frequently, so if you search this up, you'll get the website for it. That one is great for cybersecurity. Other ones I follow are just specific like tech news. So with tech news, you'll also get
Mhm.
like any big like breaches or things that are happening. So I like to follow those as well and see what's going on, and also just learn from other experiences that are happening. So like recently, we've had something I don't know if you guys are familiar with CrowdStrike, but that was a big thing that was going on
Mhm.
and affected a lot of different companies. Um, so just following the tech news every day. I watch specific YouTube channels that talk about cybersecurity. I don't have one that I can name from the top of my head, but it's like, when you go on YouTube and you watch one video and they keep recommending the same channel. So it's one of those, but I'll definitely, yeah, I'll definitely, Tiana says she watches them all. Yeah. But yeah, just searching up what's going on. Let's see if there's anything else I would recommend. Um, I prefer to take things in small bites. So there is another email list that I'm a part of, which is called Homebrew, I believe, or it's called just the Brew. But that one's more software engineering related. Engineering. I'm writing it in the chat. Email list. So you just get the daily. It doesn't spam you too much. It'll just give you like a rundown. And I believe you can change your frequency if I'm not mistaken, but it'll just give you a rundown of things that are happening. But other than that, just like scrolling on my Apple News app and just seeing the tech section, or going on Krebs on security is my main ways.
Okay. All right. So as you now, like I'm assuming you've applied for different roles in the space. What has been your biggest challenge to landing a security role, do you think?
Um, I think my biggest challenge to landing a security role is understanding I think the first step is the resume portion, because software
Mhm.
engineering, even though it's very similar to cybersecurity, it's a different skill set, or you're doing different work. Um, so cybersecurity is can be sometimes less technical and be more about certain, like you just need to know certain concepts and know about networks and know about different things. Just the same as like if you're a cybersecurity professional and you want to go into software engineering, you have to know how to code, you need to know different things about the things that are considered like basic need to know items. Um, and so I think just transitioning over to that, like putting it that different helmet on where
Mhm.
I'm at right now. And that's something I'm working on with my mentor and just going through the courses and just making sure that information is fresh in my mind. Because when you do an interview, they're going to ask you specific questions, at least technical interviews. They usually will have the behavioral, like to learn about you, but then also it's like, hey, do you have these skills to actually be a cybersecurity professional in our company? And so I just need to practice more on those specific cybersecurity skills and make sure I can answer certain questions that an interviewer would ask me. So I think that's where I'm at right
Mhm.
now.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, if you had to chart it out, I'm gonna put you on the spot,
Okay.
right? Yes, 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 yes. So, when you start thinking about year one, year two, year three, year four, let's just say tomorrow Miss Mary finds your job,
Mhm.
right? How are you going to build the next, where do you want to be, once you get that first job?
Um, in terms of like my learning or just like in general.
Okay, so let me kind of give you set this up a little better. Okay, so Miss Mary's always talking about planning out your career, and it's not the first role, it's the next role, and
Mhm.
gathering the required skills that you need for that next role. So when you look at your career over the course of the next 5 years,
Mhm.
where do you want to be in 5 years, and what steps are you going to take to get there?
Right. So in the next 5 years, I want to at least have um, I would say minimum 3 years of experience, like in either I would say like a security engineer role would be ideal, and then with the other 2 years, hopefully um, be promoted into another role. But in terms of learning, I definitely want to have 3 years in a role, current role, and then if I decide, yeah, I want to do penetration testing or something like that, then I would at least have that 3 years of experience that I can leverage as well as my background and say, okay, this is how I want to transition. And I think transitioning from there, I think I would still definitely be connected to the MiC talent community and especially the inaugural cohort and leverage them and see if anyone wants to learn together or study together or who's also interested in penetration testing. And from there, I usually try and learn some skills about the next role I want to be in. So if that's watching a few YouTube videos or actually going in and doing things, I learn best by doing. And I think in technology, um, it's best to actually go in and build something or do something yourself. So I think there's a bunch of courses on YouTube that I found that'll help you just do basic level penetration testing and see how things are working yourself. So at least you have hands-on experience and know what the actual role will be like and see like, okay, this is something I'm interested in doing. Um, so I think definitely I want to like just be heads down in my role, but also be a sponge and soak everything in and learn as and see maybe after those 3 years, do I want to just advance to the next level or stay in this industry or stay on that path or do I want to do penetration testing or things like that? So I think I want to have a solid foot in my next career in cybersecurity and also a better understanding of where I would want to transition next.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I asked that question because, I tell everybody, and especially younger professionals, I said, everybody wants to be a CISO. And that's what they want to end up. And it's like your average CISO is my age. I'm 52, right? And so if you're 20 something, what are you going to do for the next 20 years? Because the reality is you're going to have to know more than just what the 3 years, spending 3 years here, and then you get there and you're like, what else do I need to learn? Right. And when you're building that career, when you're making those decisions, you want to make stretch goals, right? Or get out of your own way, or learn something new. For example, Ms. Mary has looked at cybersecurity from a technical perspective. I have an information systems engineering background. I've looked at it from a legal profession perspective. I am an attorney. I've looked at it from the federal investigator perspective. I used to work for the FBI. I looked at it from a corporate perspective. I was a corporate executive, right? I've looked at it from an entrepreneur perspective. I'm an entrepreneur in the space, right? So there's not too much, that you can tell me about cybersecurity, foundationally speaking, and what you need to know, because I've looked at it from so many different areas. I absolutely love being in the room with tech geeks and lawyers, because they speak completely different languages, but I understand them both, right? And so when you're looking to plan out your career, understand that penetration testing, okay, but then what's next? Because what happens is you get stunted, right? Your growth gets stunted if you don't think about it. It's like, okay, so what's after penetration testing, right? Or do you want to be a people leader, right? That's always a question. Everybody wants to get paid all these dollars because they heard there's all of this money in cybersecurity, and they want the $200,000, $300,000 gig, but they've been working for 3 years and they know nothing. And I say that lovingly, because I've forgotten most about the cybersecurity that you guys are learning about now, right? And so it's understanding that from even outside trying to break in. Okay, how am I going to break in? Once I break in, how am I going to gather the necessary skills that I need to get me to that next level? All right, and it can't just always be on you. When you get your foot in the door, when you're finally in that role, ask for stretch assignments, right? Ask for different things. Expose yourself. Go talk to the lawyers, right? Go talk to the IT geeks. Go talk to the privacy folks. Go talk to anybody, the business folks. The business drives everything. Understand this. Understand, listen. You can decide, you get in this role and you find this vulnerability, and you're screaming at the top of your lung. You need to fix this. You need to fix this. And if the business says, I'm okay with it, you have to accept it and move on. Right. And so we don't make money. Cybersecurity professionals are not making money for a company. We are protecting a company, which means we're a cost center. What that means is we're not bringing any revenue. The salespeople that are bringing in the revenue, those are the people that get to drive what you do. And as a professional, you have to understand that. You have to understand the business aspect of things. Um, Look at that. We've only got 10 minutes left. Any other questions? Did I miss any questions in the chat? You were putting stuff out there. I didn't miss any questions in the chat. Anybody have any questions out there anything else you would like to share, Leesel, about your experience? Like I said, you have a lot of folks on the phone that are budding apprentices and want to be where you are. So what advice would you give them? That's a
Yeah.
good question.
I would say, first off, to just believe in yourself. I know it's probably something that people hear all the time, but even for me, I was like, I don't know, like, should I apply to this? Should I just, stay a software engineer? But I wanted to kind of like, get a little bit out of my comfort zone and say, just go for it. Like, if you want to explore cybersecurity, just apply. And I feel like sometimes that can stop me at a lot of things, like just like submitting an application for something. So I would say like just try and apply, try and work on your resume, and yeah, you never know like where you would end up. So that's the first step, is just, having that courage to take a leap of faith into what you're interested in. Um, I would say once you're in, definitely. Oh, there's a question, but I'll finish. definitely like leverage everyone, like get to know your cohort mates. Everyone I've met in my cohort has been very helpful. We all look out for each other. We're all, as each of us start getting, our own roles and our own, are on our own journeys, we've always supported each other. It wasn't any like, I gotta be first or competition or things. It was always just very like kind of like our own little like family or a good group with each other. And we always have just been wanting the best for each other. So I think be that person to your cohort mates, and also I'm sure they'll give that back to you as well, because that can create a great environment. And you never know, 10 years down, one of your cohort mates might be a CISO, because everyone's in different levels of their career. So yeah, just keep in touch with everyone. Definitely reach out if you need help with projects or as you're going through the hard like cybersecurity courses. Because sometimes those projects can be a little bit hard or will require you to think a little bit. And sometimes just take breaks in between your coursework. It can be a lot, like just thinking like, wow, for a whole year I'm going to be learning, but take breaks, make sure you're digesting the information and not just kind of like cramming, because that can get tempting to just kind of like, let me just like do these courses, but make sure you're digesting the information so that when you do get interviews, you can clearly talk about like what you've learned and the courses you've taken and the skills that you're going to be bringing in. So take time doing the coursework, keep in touch with everyone of your cohort mates, and yeah, like I was saying earlier, just being present. I think is one of the simplest but very impactful things you can do as well. And so that's would be my advice. I also added some extra things in the chat like hacker news and things like that. So if you guys want to take a look and just keep updated on your own time as well. Those are good. There's a few more questions I wrote in.
Yeah, I know that somebody's asking me about the FBI. How has working for the FBI shaped your view on cybersecurity? I investigated cybercrime for the FBI. So that shaped everything, right? I was out there I was out there with the gun trying to arrest cyber criminals that were doing bad things. So I think it's a different view, right? It's just this on their worst day, on a company's worst day. This is very bad when you actually have to call the FBI because something has happened. You're getting a denial of service attack, or you've lost data, or this, that, and the other. So I think the federal government, despite you guys not, despite the sometimes the lack of respect given, the federal government understands the importance of data, and following the data and putting security secondary to the data. And what I mean by that is they classify data based on its level of importance. And the more important it is, the more security that goes around it. Corporations don't do it that way. Heck, half corporations don't know where all their data is, right? It could be good or bad, depending, right? So all that to be said, the FBI had coming from an engineering degree to being an attorney, and then the FBI kind of solidified my viewpoints on cybersecurity. Back then, information security, which I still feel is a better descriptor of what we do than cybersecurity. Are we allowed to start applying for jobs on our own once we're in the program, or is it best to wait until we are placed? You can apply. I've had folks get jobs already that in cybersecurity while in the program. Um, Several people in cohort 1 have jobs in cybersecurity that were outside of the program. All I ask is that you just keep us informed when that happens. But yes, you continue to apply. You shoot all shots. Continue to apply. And we'll work together with that. Are you able to add the projects to your portfolio? You can talk about what you do. I mean, that's something that, as we go through the process and you talk about the things that you're going through, that becomes a part of what you are from an interview perspective being asked. If you have the experience, you have the experience. You speak to the experience. So you're speaking to what you're doing, not necessarily, you know, I added them to a portfolio. Lisa, maybe you understand that question better than I do.
Yeah, so I think like from a software engineering perspective, yeah, like projects definitely help. But I think in cybersecurity, they're gonna more so ask you about like I think there's less projects you can show, but if you have projects you're working on, like for example, I made a password manager. That was also kind of more of a software engineering thing. But if you're interested and you just have projects that you've done that you want to share your interest, I think you should definitely add those projects um, to your resume. Um, but definitely talk about other things you've done. So maybe like if you've done some capture the flags or went to a hackathon, just talk more about like, maybe you came in a certain place or you did, you got to a certain level. Talk about those things. And I see you have another question. I hope that answers your question about projects.
Yeah, no. And this is probably going to be the last question. With the increase of use of AI, do you think it will eventually replace the cybersecurity experts in the future? The answer is no. What you need to understand is all AI is a program. All it is Leesel creating a software program. That's all AI is based on the algorithm. They're still going to have to be human beings. I believe look at what's happening right now in the talent space, right? From my perspective, you have AI generated resumes against application tracking systems. Employers don't know what they're getting. And so because people are so fascinated with AI, no one is really actually understanding the fallout of that. And the fallout is it's harder for each and every last one of you on this call that want to be in cybersecurity to find a job because people are using that technology to falsify who they are and from an integrity perspective. So, but then as we continue to get better at it, there will be other uses, right? There will be other jobs that are created because of AI. The only thing AI can really do is get rid of the stuff that you do every day. That it's like that oh, I have a virus. Okay, clean up that virus or whatever. But a machine is not going to be able to tell you. Perfect example. Last example. When I ran the security operations center for J&J, I used to talk to my team about the difference between a cluster of viruses in and so I had SOC 1, 2, 3, L1, L2, L3. So the difference between Mary or Leesel in New York getting a virus and then 6 or 7 people in my research and development facility that have a virus. One is just Leesel then clicked on something that she wasn't supposed to, go clean it up. The other one is more interesting because it's a research and development facility. And what that means is that's where our secrets are. That's where our intellectual property is. What the heck is going on over there? I need to investigate that. Now, that's a human being has to understand that. The AI is not going to be able to understand that because it has no context. It's just saying, "Oh, go clean those 5 viruses." But there's a question to be asked. They're like, okay, well, why are my scientists getting hit with this virus? That's a business decision. That's a business knowledge perspective, and that AI will never be able to take the place of actual business knowledge because you have to be able to connect those dots. And that's just my opinion. So, and like I said, AI is not going to take away jobs. If anything, they're just going to add more jobs because then you know AI ethicist is a thing, right? If you start to look at all the folks that are programming these algorithms, they don't look like us, right? They're traditionally IT software development. They're traditionally white male viewpoints. So now white male viewpoints and algorithms. Well, you need a black female viewpoint. You need an Indian female viewpoint. You need an African American man viewpoint. You need all of these different viewpoints if you want equality, so to speak, within the treatment of these AI algorithms, because you can go out and read the first iteration of algorithms that were turned on years ago became racist, right? Because they're learning from social media, they're learning from all of this stuff. I mean, you can look at some of the algorithms that are being used to do sentencing guidelines from the legal perspective. They show bias. right? And those are the things that we're going to have to challenge and deal with as we move forward in this new day and age. So, um, is there a MiC meetup that happens outside of the annual conference? No, we have our annual conference in March. We will have it fun. We will have another. We have our 5 year anniversary coming up on August the 30th. So it'll be still virtual. We'll have a happy hour or open house where you can come in and ask questions. But we are a leadership development organization. We're not really a social organization, so we don't have meetups in the traditional sense that other ones may. So all that to be said, we have reached time. Thank you so much, Leesel, for being on the mic with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm hopeful. The timing was awesome, because we have all of these apprentices out there that, and your experience is valuable. And I will add this to the apprentice playlist. So when I tell folks to go apply, I'll say go watch Leesel, and she'll explain it all to you. But thank you all so much for joining us. We will be back at it again in a couple of weeks with August 9th. Yes, we'll be back at it on August 9th. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the rest of the rest of your Friday, and we'll talk again in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.